Yo, welcome back. This is Conscious Lamb with another sporadic video. We're going to be continuing, potentially finishing our short series, Lane's Morality in Pursuit of the Biggest Stepper. So if you haven't checked out that first video, definitely check it out. We talked mostly about morality. You know, I talked a lot about mine, but I didn't really talk about this pursuit of the biggest stepper. Okay, so I got this idea from an album that I found inspiring, right? And you know, he's kind of in the album, he's kind of inquiring about the same thing, you know, but I feel like everybody's journey, especially with this, and I haven't revealed what it is. I mean, I hope you guys are kind of peeping it. Toughest question in the universe. You know, what is God? Who is God truly? You know, to the deepest and the smallest extent. And it's basically unanswerable. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't try for ourselves. You know, so morality is important, and you need to inquire about it because it literally sets your subconscious mind for how you're gonna run. 95% of your life is subconscious, and you know, your moral code is going to dictate, you know, decisions you make consciously and subconsciously. So you need to make sure your moral code is in check and it's up to date. We talked about conditioning, man. You get conditioned to believe certain things that might be an outdated belief. You have to observe that for yourself. Don't take that from your parents. Don't take that from your school or your religion. You got to go through that yourself and experience it and see if it's truly something that you want to set in your values. You understand? So, but on the other side of that, we talk about God, and a lot of times they make God, you know, kind of dictate these values or these morals, what's right and wrong. But I think we missed the point there because, you know, we're given this free will. I definitely think that we can agree that free will is real, that you are allowed to do as you please when you want. You know, if you give somebody the authority to make you go to bed at 9 o'clock, you do. But you have the ability to stay up till 10 if you please. You have the free will to do anything you want, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and say free will is very real. So we're given this free will, and we say, or we hear that there's, you know, an external being somewhere in the clouds, or, you know, something of that nature. And, you know, I believed that for a long time. There was always this little inkling of intuition that, like, told me that there was more, you know, be cautious, this isn't the full story, you know, things of this nature. I've discussed in previous videos that I grew up Catholic and Christian, and then later teens, I kind of broke away and went into like Buddhism. I was into Buddhism for probably a year or two, and that was like, I still have a very high passion for just like that walk of life, I guess. I can't fancy myself a Buddhist, but major respect there. I've dabbled in Islam, Judaism. You know, I see a lot of great things there too. So you can, you know, I could see the fruits from all of these ways of life: Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Judaism. I know they kind of tie together, but they're different at the same time. So and then I went through like the spiritual new age phase too, and that was probably, you know, my most recent one. And I'd say maybe like a year and a half ago is when I started to shake that, because I started opening up to the bias of it. I started seeing the BS in it, because all these walks of life are great, but they all have their own shit too. You understand? Nothing man-made is perfect, and all these are man-made. Jesus did not form Christianity. That is a fact. That fact bothers me. Jesus was a Jew. Why, if you're a Jesus follower, TNT, why are you not a Jew? Why don't you practice Judaism? Why do you put Judaism down? That's what your man was walking. It's not about what you talk or read, it's about what you experience and do. So that contradiction right there hurts me in my viewpoint of Christianity. Another thing is just the whole mainstream Christianity and the mega churches and the hypocrisy. There's major question marks. We have, for my scientists out there, man, we have major technological abilities these days. We can prove a lot of things. You can go back and see alternative modes to how, Christianity was formed through the centuries. There's plenty of philosophers and, just writers of their time, because, it was earlier. People didn't write like they do now. It wasn't widespread. But, Josephus, if you go through and read Josephus' text, Jesus is in there, and there's, numerous things that happen in the Bible happened with Josephus. Some are different, but I mean, so I don't know. There's always been an intuition there, and it pushed me to expand and grow. I've gotten to the point now where I don't walk any faith. I don't walk any straight and narrow religious viewpoint, because my moral code is starting to get authentic to the point where I can't follow others. It's just myself. And this is my pursuit of the big stepper. This is my pursuit of God. I don't have the answers. I'm not saying I do, but I'm saying that you, yourself, whoever's watching this video, needs to inquire about it for yourself. This is just my journey going through these steps. Everybody's journey is different. Everybody needs to do this though, okay? As of right now, because I believe in epistemology. Epistemology is the belief that I have. And epistemology is basically writing a line in the sand between opinion and direct experience or direct fact. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not saying you have to prove everything like a scientist, but you have to separate opinion from fact, because we have bias on a lot of things that we can't even see typically. Like the typical conversation you have, people will bring bias into the conversation. They don't even know. They don't even notice it because they're running subconscious. That's why I try to think consciously. I try to think deeply on these things so I can cross every T, dot every I. It's tough though, man. It's tough though. As of right now, I believe that we are all supposed to go through our 40 days in the desert. Jesus did it. The Buddha did it. Muhammad did it. All these, the leader of these big religious groups, or the figure, whatever, they had to go through their own hero's journey, essentially. They go into the desert, or they sit on the side of the road for 40 days, and they get tempted by the devil. But they're out there alone. Who is the devil? I don't believe that the devil's in the middle of the earth, red, burning, or whatever. I don't believe that. As I sit today, I believe that the devil is your ego, but not just your ego. It's just you could call it the ego, but people have like this new definition of the ego, and I don't want it to sound like, I'm gonna have to clarify later, I guess. But so you have your ego, and then you have your creative side. And we typically live through our ego these days. So you're supposed to go into the jungle for 40 days and really find this creative side, find yourself, because there's no distractions out there. It's you and survival. It is straight you, no bullshit. There is so much power in that. I wish I could experience that. In this new age, it's very hard to find a place where you can go 40 days anywhere. Obviously, I have children, so I probably can't do that anyway. But the point is, we can't even do that today in this society. So you go through these trials, right, for these 40 days, whatever. And this is just like, it doesn't have to be 40 days. That's not stern. But you get my point. And you find God within yourself. Jesus was an enlightened being because he found God himself inside of himself. We're looking at, wow, I don't know what that bug is. If we're looking at the Dead Sea Scrolls, it still talks about, which is like the Bible before they reconstructed the Bible a couple hundred years after Jesus died. Check out the Nicene Council. The Dead Sea Scrolls was discovered in 1947, I believe, and right next to the Dead Sea, and it basically had all the Gnostic texts of early Christianity. So there was people the stuff that was going down right during and after Jesus was all wrote down. There was a lot of Josephus texts in there, a lot of amazing stuff there. And that was another reason, like I struggle completely with the Bible because of the contradiction. Where do you draw the line between Yahweh of the first of the New Testament or the Old Testament, and then the newfound God of the Old Testament? When Jesus is in the New Testament telling you don't follow mainstream religion because this isn't even the true God, this is the demigod. So you're telling me, you're going to prove to me somehow off of faith that there's no potential at all, that you're just being dogmatic and just, putting your faith somewhere because it's easy and that's what you were told? That's dangerous to me. I'm not denying it. I'm not going to say it's wrong. I'm just saying that's dangerous. If I go down a searcher and, I die a searcher and that's it, at least I know that I really worked. I really tried to find this relationship. Because direct experience is so important. I've never directly experienced the voice of God or the sight of, an entity, a ghost, an angel, an alien. I've never experienced anything paranormal like that. So my direct experience in that area is very limited. Some people have experienced a lot of these things. Okay, we look at that. And you gotta look deep into psychology. Carl Jung, the book, Man's Language and Symbols, or something like that. Super deep book, super long, worth the read though. And it talks about symbolism and how people perceive the world. We basically have five senses, and we're perceiving the world through these five senses, and we just build up our life around this. Okay, so you're getting these symbols in your head, you're taking it, and you don't really know what it is, but you're running with it. When you step back and question these symbols and what comes up in your mind, in your subconscious, in your conscious, in your thought patterns, more danger arises, okay? Because these symbols will come to you as you know it. So if you believe in Jesus with your heart, it's going to come to you as a white Jesus with long flowing hair, the thorns, the cuts, because that is the symbol in your head that you put with this, okay? And that's why I don't believe that if you're not a Christian, you're going to burn in hell. I don't believe that. Because if you're Buddhism or you're Hinduism or you're Islam and you have a symbol of Muhammad come up, that's God. That's still God. That is the same God. There's not different gods. There's no levels to this shit. At least in my direct experience. We all get this symbol. You're telling me everybody before Christianity burned? Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. There's no way I believe that everybody before Christianity burned. So why are we all burning now? Because it was formed and now we gotta fall in line? Bullshit. Find that shit for yourself. So we go through this journey. We all have our own journey, but we have our free will to decide what we're gonna do with this journey. It's tough. So these symbols that come up in your head, I'm not saying that they're not real, because there's activity there, there's creation there for a reason. You know, everything comes up for a reason. But I think we need to look deeper into it. When you start really looking into it, other questions come up. You got to answer these questions, and you get into a rabbit hole. But it's also beautiful, because when you come out on top, you see that it's just the present moment. All you truly have is the present moment in yourself. Breathe that in. And when you can really harness that, all your struggles and your pain and your heartache fall off. As of today, July 20th, I'll say, I don't know. It's Saturday. It's Saturday morning. God and you and all this around you are one. I'm gonna have to shoot a video on non-duality. Yep, that's gonna be number 3. Part 3 coming soon. If you guys got any questions, discussions, you know, I'm not trying to come at anybody's beliefs, but I just don't think that people question it enough. People are just okay with running with what they're fed, and that's so dangerous. You gotta walk the path less walked. Jesus was not out here being spoon-fed what everybody else was preaching. He found that shit in his direct experience for himself, and then he gave back. That's what I'm trying to do. I haven't found the answers, but I'll tell you right now, I'm not giving up until I find them. There's only a couple things I'm doing in my life. I'm raising my kids, I'm working on myself, and I'm gonna find God. At the end of the day, maybe it sounds a goat to me, but maybe I am God, and you know, these are just, I'm one small cell, one leaf on a big ass tree named Earth, and it's my job, my duty as a creator to work for God. God worked through me, or one and the same. Maybe that's why my prayers don't get answered. Maybe that's why when I feel like I'm meditating, I don't get symbolism, and you know, because I don't have the same beliefs that everybody else does. I don't have an entity, a picture. You know, the fact that the Muslims don't have a picture of Muhammad, like that's, or Allah. They don't have a picture of Allah. I'm sorry. That to me is so deep. That's incredibly just, oh man, the fact that they fast. Like, there's so much beauty in all these walks of life, man. How long has this video been going? 18 minutes.